Well, I'm always looking for easy crafts that use up scraps. This craft I've seen with people buying stuff, but that's not for me what craft is all about. It's using things up. So I thought I'd share it with you. I started doing it and I thought, well, I'll share it with you. You might be interested. And to let you know, I have multiple disabilities, so there's a lot of crafts I can't actually do, or I have to figure out a different way of doing them. Well, as I say, for me, it's about using things up. And I had this old colouring book, and it's big pictures. And this is from when I used to have a dance school, and I used to buy colouring books. So little brothers and sisters, if they had to wait, they had things to do. And I've got different levels of colouring book, but this is like big pictures. And I'm not very likely to use this in any other way. So I've been looking into junk journaling. Now, I'm not going to use it as a journal. I've got a very unique way I'm going to use it. But let's say you were going to use it as a journal. Instead of using these as the pages, you could use these as the stick-on to the pages, because look, you could journal in all these big gaps on some of the pictures. So here, for example, you might want to use this to stick on your page so you can do your journaling there. So that's an idea for those of you who do journaling and you want to actually be able to write on some of the areas. Of course, you'll go and decorate it as well and put other bits across and so on and so forth, but that's the plan. So this one is no sew. I didn't want to be messing around with things like that. And these are my pages, and all I did to make my pages was I had it this way up. It doesn't matter it's tatty, because apparently that's what junk journaling is all about. And you just make a fold down like an aeroplane. So you make this. Now, some people then fold it down this way, and some people fold it down this way. Now, if you fold it down this way and take it not quite to the end, but so it looks more envelope-y, so you will have part here. And it doesn't matter how neat or untidy it is. If you fold it this way, this will become a page. And you can use these bits, glue down part of it, and you can use these as pockets. But if you're going to use this to stick onto the next page, then you might as well have it this direction, and you've got a flatter surface to deal with, and the rubbish bit is underneath anyway. And again, you might want to use part of this within your finished look, but normally junk journaling made this way, these are just the bases. You don't use these, but you can do if you want to, so incorporate that in it. So this would be your first page. Now this one, people always recommend you leave open and keep this as the nice bit, the top page. And then again, as I say, you could stick loads of things on here, make it fancy, some here so it gives more interest. And these parts you would just glue down and add on top of it. And then you'd flip it over, and then this bit glue onto there, and you start making your journal. So as I say, normally this is your base. You don't use any of this. You won't see any of it. It's just using up any old books or something like that. But you can incorporate it if you want to, which I'm going to on some of the pages and not the others. So again, you'll see some I've left this way if I'm going to stick it down onto the next side. And then I could journal here, but as I say, I'm not going to journal. What I'm going to do is I've made little flashcards, very small ones, of Greek. And then within my design, when I've got this, I'm going to cover some up, some not. I'm going to make little pockets, or I could have a long bit of ribbon or cord or fancy tape, anything, and let there be gaps within it where I can slide in the flashcards. I might have an odd one on one page, I might have a whole line of them, and then by doing that, they're not permanent. When I've learnt a page, I can flip over and do another page and keep going through the little journal, and then when I think I know them all, go back, look, did I remember them? I've got the Greek on one side and the English on the other. I could then flip them over and see if I can translate back, remembering them all. Again, go through the whole journal. When I've got to the end, come back again. Those that I've remembered, I can change. So I can change them out, swap them out. So for example, you could use something like this and make little pockets to slide and then wind it down, and then do another one. You could slide another one in here and just make little, you could use glue dots in between to hold it down or secure it any other way. So this would also be good for learning. So it's got a purpose as well if you don't do journaling, which I don't do. Don't have the time for that sort of thing. But of course you could make permanent ones. If this goes well, this is my first ever try. If this goes well, I'm thinking about making one with a theme of flowers and garden, and then put each month at the top, and then write what flower seeds to sow that month, because I don't really know flowers very well. So I thought I could actually do that, and then each month I can see what flowers, and then that can go on my shelf with my gardening. So I'll show you when I've done more of it. But as I say, I could keep this, some of it as it is, and add fancy. If you didn't have a lot of trim or odd bits and pieces, then you could just make it like that and just cover the bits that aren't any good. So for example, that bit's no good, so you would stick this bit down, make it flat, and then you could add other things here. And do look at junk. It is supposed to be junk journaling, not junk, oh let's go and buy some trims. It's supposed to be using offcuts. So it does make me a little cross when I see people going out and buying things to make junk journals. That's kind of like recycling, but going out to the shop and buying something and then saying you've upcycled it. Okay, so have a go. As I say, I'll just come back and show you when I've done more of it and at the different stages. And I do have here a whole drawer. I have a whole drawer in my craft cupboard that I can pull out, and these are odds and ends that I've got, and I do label them. So you've got stickers, cut out, stones, hearts, ribbons, and these are old video cases. So if you can ever get old video cases, then that. So again, with the ribbon, I could put these. I could put the ribbon down and then form little slip pockets, just attaching the ribbon in different places, down, 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 down. So you've got little compartments you could slide each thing in, or make actual pockets. Maybe you've got an old t-shirt, a child's t-shirt, or a little pocket from somewhere. You could actually attach the little pockets in, or as I say, these flaps. You could just partially glue this bit down, and then you've got little pockets here. But do try and make things with junk. That's what it's all about. So this is the beginning of it. So I've got my first flat. Now you can stick card on there, or a birthday card, something like that, but I'll show you decorating it later. Then you turn the page. I've stuck this bit completely on here. turn the page. Again, I've stuck this bit completely on here. Turn the page, again completely. As I say, you don't have to completely stick them on. But I think I want to do that with all of mine because, as I say, the use I'm doing with it, I don't need to have lots of fancy flaps and pockets. But you could do that. You could just partially, or maybe I'll do this one to show you. You could partially stick some on and have a flap, but then that would need more decorating. I want to keep this bit. So I'm just gluing the triangle bits first. Stick those down. Make sure everything's quite well creased. And then this bit, doesn't matter if you're not in line, this is why I like it. It's supposed to look junky. Glue over all of that again. And then what I do, I'm lining it up now with whatever sticks out rather than the page I'm on. So then it should all glue together straighter. Fold it over. Press it down. As I say, if you wanted to, you could not glue this bit down, make a slip there. Or if you wanted to say keep that like I'm going to, you could have decorated this bit first. Or I don't want the severe triangle, so I'm going to stick bits partially over, maybe follow the curve of the snake and cut something out to go around here. So I can show you one more page being done like that. So open up the triangles. Glue those first and down. And then glue on all the rest of the fold and over everything else of the triangle. And line that up, cut it into the very lowest page. Keep it steady, fold it over and glue it on. Okay, let's do a pocket now. So this time I want to keep this bit not glued. So I'm only going to glue this bit maybe across here. So I'm just going to glue the last section. Line up with the lowest one. It doesn't matter if they're not even completely. And then there. And then when it dries, you have a flap. You could glue this piece to hold the book together as well. Glue, dry, and you'll have a little flap. Yeah. A tip I always share with you when I do crafts with glue or paint, I have a plastic sheet, any old plastic bit of file or folder. Again, this was actually a book to cover a book, so it's got a spiny bit here. So again, you could actually use it on your junk journal, but I use it, so I'm gluing always. This is only a craft table, but I always use that, and then as glue or paint dries, you can just peel it off. Well, this is the basic book I've done. I'm going to add more to it, and as I said, I'm going to put little loops and pockets and things in, but I thought I'd show you as it is. I've made this little tab, so I've marked what page I'm on. So we have that. So this is the time when you can add glitter or sequins or lace trims. You can put all lace on the edge, whatever you want, but I thought I'd show you the basics of it. And you can make pockets, so you wouldn't stick things down completely. You can write on little bits if you wanted to. And I've left spaces for now, so I might add some words in. You can put little sentiments on if you're going to keep it as a quote book, for example. And as I say, I'm going to use it for my Greek letters, and I'm going to put some ribbon down or some trim down, maybe something similar to this. Put it down, but leave little slots of it unstuck. And then I can put my Greek words in, flashcards, and keep changing them. It's very good to have a book that's adaptable. Now, I did this page to show you, for example, if you're using it as a journal or a doodle book or a little notebook, you could put colouring pages in, and then you can just sit and colour them, make your own colouring book. So this was just using whatever I had for free, just cards and wrapping paper, little offcuts of other things, just to show you how it doesn't need to cost you anything. As you can see, I've left little tabs and slots all over the place. This is an example of how you can keep slots and put things in. And I've thought of another idea of another one you could do. You could make it for children, and you could do each page a scene of a house, for example. So you could do table and chairs, and then cut little slits at all the chairs. Then you could cut out little figures, and children can play slotting them in, so they might be sitting at the table. And then another page, it might be a bed. You could even draw them if you haven't got pictures, or cut from catalogues, and then make a little slit in the bed on another page, and you could slide them in so they're sleeping in the bed. So make all rooms and gardens. Perhaps you could have a swing in a garden with a little slit, and you could put them in. So make a whole family. Maybe at the very beginning you would have slots with all the characters in at the very beginning, or have them hidden throughout the book. You can also play a game of having tabs to lift up and try and find characters or items hiding. So lots of ideas for using these junk books, I'm just going to call them. You can theme, so you could do all your holiday pictures. So this I've made beach, and again I've got another pocket. It's good that you can't always see all the pockets and tabs, and you can just put different souvenirs in the pockets and the tabs. So it really is as much as you can imagine and create. So again, lots of tabs. You can partially stick tabs around to have a slot in the top. So as I say, that is a first go at just the idea of making a junk book, but trying to give you lots of ideas and reasons you would use them. So I said I had other ideas. I have started the next one, but I want to show you the planning of the first one that I'm going to now do. So this one, I think I mentioned it, is going to be my gardening book. And this is going to be to keep an idea of each month what I sow in the garden of flowers. Now I haven't finished trimming this one yet, but I thought I'd show you. So for example, this bit would be trimmed off. Anything sticking out over the shape, you trim away. So I haven't quite finished this yet. I've just started it. I thought I'd show you. Again, I've made a little bookmark. Now something you need to do is plan your pages. So I suggest you lay out all what you want on a page, and then if things go underneath or you've got a gap you want to cover up, lay those down first and make sure you glue things in the right order. So I put a green background here, so obviously that needed to go first, and what you want to overlay and underlay. So this is what I'm working on at the moment. I haven't done anything else. And that's basically, I've called it my cover page. So it's a good idea to write on the underneath what each page is going to be for. And then you'll see I've written on the top of each page. This actually starts in March because it's going to be spring. So this page is going to be spring. And I'm going to have all spring pictures, words spring, anything associated with spring. And there are pockets, so I can put things in there. So just spring. And then spring, I'm going to do March. So I'm going to decorate the page, but then I'm going to put, mentioned before, like find some pictures like this where I could write on it. So once I've got some main pictures, I'll take part of this, stick it on top, and this will be where I write, so it keeps the theme going. So I've got March, April, and again, I've got lots of pockets and things going on, but you'll see when I've done it. May, and as you can see, it's old colouring books, so you won't see any of this in this book. I'm going to do this different to the last one. And then summer, so a page all about summer. I've got pictures that I want to use. I'll show you those in a minute. And then again, I've got tabs and pockets. And then I'm going to do June, July, August. And then I've got an autumn page. Again, lots of different pockets and tabs and slots. And then autumn is September, October, November. Then I've got a page winter. And then finishing December, January, February. And again, once you've done one, play around more with making tabs and extra flaps. You could stick envelopes in. And I talked before about I've got netting that I will stick in. But again, you need to plan that because you want the netting behind. So I've got different sorts of netting. I can make little pockets out of this, but you'll see you'll need pictures underneath. So just find things and create. And what I also advise you to do is, I'm doing for this one, it doesn't look like it because I pushed it out at the moment, but these are all colour coded. So I pulled out any pictures or anything I had of gardening, and I then put them in similar colours because I think that works well on the page. So I've got reds and pinks here. I've got golds and yellows over here. I've got blues at the back here. So lots of colours, but I think that works better. And as I say, lay them out on the page, work out what's going to be stuck underneath. Make sure you've got no gaps. Put just colour card or shiny paper, anything you've got, and then lay it all out. And don't forget, if you've got flaps and pockets, you don't want to stick over the top. What I suggest, if you've got a flap or something, you might miss it, put a paper clip on for the time being, and then you'll remember that you've got a flap or pocket there. So that's just a little update, and also how you can make junk books. And tell me in the comments if you made a junk book, or if you have made junk books before, or this is going to be your first one, what use you will have for it. Could be a little diary, could be a journal, could just be a scrapbook of places you've been. Maybe it's even your wedding and you want to put little souvenir things in there, little napkin and things like that. Or you might be doing something completely different. Might be a little revision book, something to make you come back to the book. But I do think these bookmarks I've decided to do are a good idea as well. So to have these little bookmarks, you can mark what page you're on with the tab. If I make any more, or actually when I finish this one, I will probably do another video and give you other ideas as well. I look forward to reading your comments, and until next time, as always, Meraki.